schedule and joining us today. And I'm going to tell you something. I've heard a couple, I say about maybe three songs from the album. Incredible. You did a fantastic job, and your confidence shines through the
Thank you
entire
so much.
album.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So how do you feel about from an artist perspective? How do you feel about the album?
Oh, I'm super proud of it. I think it's like the best body of work I've put out so far.
Okay.
I didn't think I was going to top the last one, so I'm really proud of this one. I'm excited. I got a lot of featured artists in it, and I'm just really happy with how it turned out.
Well, again, I said, actually, spending the time and listening to the project, I said, okay. I said, because I'm a stickler a little bit. I said, wait a minute. I said, her vocals are really, really good. I'm like, okay, she can really sing. So my question to you is, how do we go from pursuing a college degree in education and also mental health, going segue and going into becoming a music artist?
It's a good question. Honestly, they coexist. So
Okay.
um, I have worked really hard the past few years to try to do both. And it gets a little crazy, but I'm lucky to be able to pull them both off. So just rewinding, I started out. I've done music my whole life, and when I went to college, it seemed like the more responsible, smarter thing to do was just to kind of like leave behind my music career and
Okay.
my passion in music. At that time, it wasn't really a career. So my passion and just kind of go into academics. So I did that, and I studied history, and then I decided to go into teaching. I taught overseas. I came back to the US, and I still was missing something. So then
Okay.
I started teaching here. And I lived in Atlanta for a little while. I was teaching there. That's where I started getting into music. And when I moved back home to Michigan, where I'm from, um, I was teaching here. I went back to school to be a counselor. And so now I am a counselor Tuesday through Thursday. So Tuesday through Thursday, I am a private practice mental health counselor. And then
Okay.
Friday through Monday, I'm a musician. And that's kind of how
Wow.
I make it work right now. So
I'm surprised as much as you do, you found time to actually get in the studio
mhm.
and work on this project. But I want to touch on something that's very important. And I think it resonates, especially in today's society, mental health. We have so many people that are going through so many things, are struggling with mental health. And I wanted to ask you, how have you been able to use that to kind of navigate through your music career? Because you deal with a lot of different things coming your way, as far as especially being an independent artist, being responsible for your music and making sure that your music gets out there. So, how have you been able to use that to your advantage to kind of help you weave through this?
That's a great question, too. You got good questions.
Well, thank you.
So music started out, and I mean, it still is, but it's become a little less. But it started out as my own counseling, right? Like it started out as my own way to just get out what I wanted to write about, work through situations with relationships and real life situations, and like it was just passion. It was good for me. It was healthy for me. It was a release, and it still is, but it's a little bit more of a job now. Um, but knowing about mental health, it helps me create time for like self care and prioritizing myself, and then being able to really like get everything done that I need to do, like making time for my personal life, my relationships, making time for me as a professional, making time for me as a musician. I guess it just allows me to like have a really good balance and be able to like understand it that way, and also understand that people need outlets. So whether it's music or writing or exercising or crafting, like whatever it is, people need like hobbies and outlets to be able to enjoy and do things that give back to them, because the world is crazy enough and people's schedules are crazy enough. So
Without question, and it definitely resonates through your music. One of the things I like, which you just said that I really found impressive, is that a lot of artists, veteran artists that have been in this industry for years, it's always one of the most challenging things is being able to balance a professional career in a personal life. People that were extremely close to you at one time, then all of a sudden where you had time for them. Now your time is very limited. How have you been able to kind of, you know, kind of manage that? Say, wait a minute, Becca, we had time for one another, and all of a sudden now you're spending this time doing your job, but also you're spending an inordinate amount of time in the studio working. Also, now I hear that you're working on a new video. So how are you able to maintain everything all at once?
Well, I don't sleep. I try to sleep. I don't know. It's a good question. I hope that nobody takes it personally, because I'm also like, I also really try hard to show up for people that mean something to me. Like if there's a special event or a birthday or, something just to spend time together, I try really hard to make it work. And I think that's what you described is like definitely what has happened. I kind of went from a person who was always everywhere. I was always there for people to making my real group like a little bit smaller and being able to be there for the people that really show up for me and I show up for them. Um, so it's a lot. Sometimes, like this past week where I was managing all of that and my video, I didn't sleep very much at all. And then it allowed me to have like a weekend where I did nothing this weekend, which was nice. But it's really just about like balancing and prioritizing yourself and hopefully being around good people that understand like there are times when you're going to have a little bit less physical time, but that doesn't mean the relationship has changed at all.
During your personal endeavors, have you been able to kind of transform what you've experienced in your personal life? Have you been able to kind of transfer it through your music as far as life experiences are concerned?
Definitely. I tend to lately, my past two albums have been a little bit more about like the romantic side than friendships and like family and stuff like that. But my new video coming out, which is called Ride Ride, is just about my girls and my best friends and like being there for each other and riding for each other and going hard for each other, even if we haven't seen each other in a month, or even if we haven't called and talked to each other in a few weeks or whatever have you. It's about like those really true friendships that aren't going anywhere, even if each other are busy. Like a lot of my friends have families and kids, and I don't have that yet, but I think we understand that like we're both busy in different ways, but we both care, we all care and are there for each other no matter what.
Right. It's amazing. The ones that do really understand, they comply. They say, you know what? I understand her life is really hectic, but she still has so much love for me. I know she'll be there when I need her. Then the other ones, unfortunately, like, wait a minute now. I'm getting a little bit envious. She's not here for me. I'm not a quote unquote priority
Yeah.
anymore. And that's rough. And what ends up happening is that you have a certain circle of friends that have been like this. And next thing you know, it dwindles down very, very quickly. And sometimes, unfortunately, jealousy seeps into the conversation where people become envious and not supporting you. What has it meant for you to have people around you that truly support what you're doing and have that kind of love and admiration on this journey?
Oh, it's beautiful. I try really hard to count the people that are there instead of the people that are not, but it's hard sometimes. Like sometimes you take it personally. And I know like even talking to my friends that are artists, and that's one thing, like I have a lot of friends that are musicians. So I think we understand each other on that level. But outside of that, I have seen a couple of my like friendships and family ships change over the past couple of years, like some of them not for the better. But I kind of figure like I had to learn that lesson, whether it was music or not, right? Like I used to really like quantity. I had a big group, a lot of people, and now it's more about quality.
Right, without question. I can tell in the brief time that I've had an opportunity to converse with you, you carry your emotions for everyone to see. And how do you because if you're out there with that and you're showing that level of transparency, Do you kind of try to put up a wall sometimes to kind of shield you away from that, from allowing people to get a little bit too close to you, as far as the someone maybe not having good intentions towards you?
Yeah, I try. I try. I feel like there's a lot of people who just want to like, um, actually more musically. It's more musically. There's a lot of like people who want to like get in with what I'm doing now or work with me, but don't want to put the work in, right? Like
Right.
I do this as it started as a passion, but it's not. So, it costs money if you want to work with me. If we want to be on a feature, it costs money. Like I don't do many things for goodwill unless it's like people from my hometown. But I think a lot of artists, like more typically male artists, have a hard time understanding that when they ask me to work with them. Um, so I think it's just more about like trying to read people and
Right.
trying to understand, like, are they in this because we're professionally working together? Are they in this because they're hitting on me? Are they in this because it's a popularity thing and they see that I'm taking
Right.
off right now? Like, what exactly is it?
How have you managed to keep your quote unquote ego in control? Because when you have a lot of people telling you how great you are and you're phenomenal and this and that, how do you kind of keep your ego in check? Wait a minute. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the compliment, but I know that I still have more work to do as an artist and also as a songwriter.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I keep a lot of people around me that tell me the truth. I'm not afraid of criticism. So as many people are out there like telling me good job, there's a lot of people out there that say, like give me criticism. And as long as it's with a good intention, like for me to be better, I take it pretty well. I didn't used to be like that. I used to kind of take it really personally and get really upset and get really defensive. But I just more understand now that like everybody has different tastes, and like musically everybody has different ears. So I don't always agree with like my engineers. I don't always agree with like the producers and what have you, but they don't mean any harm. Like we're
Right.
all trying to put out a really good product, and I have to remember at the end of the day that like that's the intention. Like I consider these people my family. So um, there's a quote, and I use it not only musically but like with my clients, and it says that don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. And
Mm.
so that's like kind of what I live by, because, if somebody doesn't have a kind of a leg to stand on with giving advice or understanding like the industry, then chances are I'm not going to care what you have to say about what my music is like. So
No question.
I let it just kind of roll off my back where I can. And then where it's useful, I take it.
If I'm just a novice and I'm going to quote unquote record stores when they used to exist here in the States,
Yeah.
and I went in there and I seen this album where it says Bekah Baby, why should I pay my money to buy this particular album?
You're gonna get an album that is a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of R&B. It has hip hop. There's pop in there. There's old school. Like if you really listen to the tracks and you really listen to some of the inspiration, like I feel like there's a little bit for everybody. It's good quality music. It talks about love and passion and real life, which most people can relate to. Um, I just think it's a really good sound. It's a good vibe. Like I think song to song to song, I think you could just listen through and not even skip anything. So
That's a rarity. That is definitely a rarity. What inspires you? What motivates you to be great?
um, a lot of things inspire me. But if I really think about the real reason why I work so hard and live so hard, right? Like I take every opportunity. I say no to nothing. And I think that's because my dad passed away when I was really little. I was 9 years old, and he was like the most life filled man. Like he always took every opportunity. He always had fun. He lived with no regrets. If an opportunity came tomorrow to do something big, it was always a yes. And he had cancer and he passed away. And so I think like the impact of that on my life, not only was he a musician, but professionally for counseling, even that's why I do what I do. It just shows me like you have one life. I know that's just a saying, but it's true. You shouldn't have regrets. You should do everything that you want to do and anything that you can do to make memories and have moments and leave something behind for other people. So I think that's my inspiration, really. That's my true motivation, boiling everything down at the end of the day.
Without question. And for those who are tuning in late, shame on you. But the teddy bear does forgive you. We're being joined by the very super talented Bekah Baby, of course. Lord have mercy. And the album is available, of course, as we speak. So make sure you go out and get it. That is important. Now, when are we going to have an opportunity to see some live performances? Because it's one thing to do something in the studio, but people want it real, shaken, but not stirred. So when are we going to have an opportunity to see you live?
Well, I was doing a ton of performances the past few years. From pretty much the past full year, I've been doing performances everywhere I can, whether it was in Detroit, around here, whether it was I went to South by Southwest in the spring. I've been doing a lot of different shows, but I turned down a few because I really wanted to focus on finishing my album and putting out this final product and then promotion. So that's what I've been really focusing on. So now that it's finally out and I'm picking back up with videos and things, hopefully this fall and this winter, I'll pick back up with shows, but I don't have any confirmed on the books right now. So I can't give you a time and date.
Okay.
But I think I was going too hard on the shows, and I really needed studio time to finish things up and to get back inspired instead of just the final product. So took a little break, but to be continued. So look for those times and days in the future.
All right. You're here first, man. Also, I notice in your photo shoots, the camera loves you. And you seem to love the camera.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, it really resonates as far as, especially in your music and also just seeing the different photos. I've said, okay, the camera loves her. She's very photogenic. And you have that kind of, what's the word I want to look for? Alluring type of vibe.
Thank you. I'm glad that comes off to other people because I'm actually not. I'm goofy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm goofy. I like to laugh at myself. I am behind the camera asking my best friends a million times, am I gonna like that? Do I look okay? So I'm glad it comes off that way. But it took a lot of work to get comfortable. I feel like I'm not the traditional entertainer, right? I'm curvy, I'm Arabic, I'm a little bit different than a lot of entertainers out here. So it took a lot of development to get to where I'm at. And I attribute a lot of that to not only just getting comfortable with myself and who I want to be as an entertainer, but I've also been working with an artist developer the past year and a half, who is also my choreographer and one of my dancers among the other ones. So I have really gotten a lot more comfortable in the past year and a half of who I want to be as a musician and who I want to put out there.
It's very imperative that we all, not just people that are in the entertainment industry, but having the ability to be comfortable in one's skin. Mm-hmm. It definitely resonates with a lot of confidence, a lot of reassurance that, hey, look, I'm cool being who I am. And I'm not trying to change or conform to what you want me to be. And I think that's imperative, especially being an artist. One of the things I want to speak upon as far as working with a producer, and a lot of people don't realize when you're an artist, you have to have a very special relationship with a producer who really understands you and being able to bring out something that you didn't realize that you have. And I wanted you to speak to the listeners out there. How important is it to have a producer who really vibes with you and understands what you're trying to do?
Oh, it's extremely important. I would say I have quite a few producers that I work with, but even beyond vibing with a producer, it's really important, right? You want to understand each other and put out, a really good song. And sometimes it takes both of you to get on the same agreement. You don't always agree with what you're doing, but even further than my producers and like looking for that sound or putting out a song are my engineers. So my advice beyond the producers are to be best friends with your engineers. So I have two engineers. I'm going to name drop for a second. So I
All
have
right.
Detroit, which is where I'm at currently. Eastside Arcade from Arcade Studios, and then Saginaw, Michigan, in my hometown, about an hour and a half up north, Mac Jovi from Jovi Studios. So those are my musical best friends, and
Okay.
you should be best friends with your producers. You need them to tell you when you sound like crap. You need them to tell you when you need to get more into it, when you need to change up
Right.
your voice, when you need to breathe better, when you need to, right? Like you can't be, you can't shy away from their criticism. You have to be like close with them, and they have to understand what you want to put out, and you have to understand how they want to make you sound, right? In order for everybody to agree and be on the same page. So I think it's extremely, extremely important to stay close with the people that you work with, and they're doing a lot for you. I wouldn't sound the way I sound without them. So it's good for everybody to be on the same page, and you want them to be as much into your sound and your craft as you are. Like I want them to be as much invested in putting out my album as I was, and they were. So it just works out great if you can do that.
Well, you are definitely a writer, my queen. Absolutely.
Yes.
And to get all the latest updates, let your fingers do the walking. Stop by and catch up with Bekah Baby, of course, on Instagram, also on her official website to get all the latest updates. You mentioned to me that you lost your father at a very early age. Right now, if you had an opportunity to just kind of sit in the living room and have a face to face conversation with your dad, what would be some of the things that you would say to him?
That's a deep one. Gonna try not to get emotional. I'm gonna surface answer it, but I think I would just thank him, because I think the relationship that he gave to me in 9 years is better than most, is better than a lot of relationships that fathers have with their kids their whole life. So I think I would just thank him for everything that he showed me and taught me, and like the real, like true love that he made me and my mom feel. He was a great dad. He was a great husband. He was just a great guy. So I think I would just thank him, and I think I would want to hear, all of the funny jokes and things that he would have to say about everything I've done up until this point. So that's what I would do.
It goes back to what you said earlier. It's about quality, quality over quantity. And I think a lot of times we don't really take the time to truly appreciate the quality time that we have with people that mean so much to you in this journey of life. And your journey, my love, has just begun. Hopefully soon you'll make your way down here to Houston, Texas and perform. We would love to see you.
Oh, I
Definitely
love that. I love that.
have an open invitation. If Bekah could go back 7 years ago and have a conversation with that Bekah Baby, what would be some of the things that you would talk to her about to get her prepared for this future, for this journey in
These are
music?
good questions. Oh, 7 years ago, I would just tell her not to worry. Like things will be okay. Things will work out, and just stay consistent. Just stay determined. Keep grinding. Keep working, and things will pay off. Things will go how you want, and have fun in the meantime too. Right? Like stop stressing so much and just enjoy, and things will work out.
Without question. Being an independent artist has its ups and downs, its flows and non flows. But I've always said the great thing about being an independent artist is that you have complete creative control over
Yeah.
your music. Now, you get a major label come knocking on Bekah Baby's door, and they say, hey, look, we like what we see. We love what we hear. We want to sign you, but we want to try to turn you into something that you're not. What would be your response?
Yeah, it's probably. I don't know, because I would want to do it after a lawyer. After a lawyer read my paperwork, I would say yes. But everything comes at a cost, so you
Yes.
have to determine like what is that cost and are you okay with it? Um, I'm pretty true to myself, so I feel like that wouldn't really work well with me as far as if they just really wanted to like change who I am and what I put out there. But if it's like from a different point of view, like if it's just trying to like develop me further and like help me in that aspect, I'd be okay with it. But
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like, I know a lot of people get taken advantage of and you have to have, a good team and good lawyers, good people on your side to make sure everything is what it says it is. But other than that, like, why not just go for it and see what happens, right? Like, you
Hey,
can't be in a worse position than you are as an independent artist. I think if it's good enough, I would say
right.
go for it and see where the ride takes you.
Let it ride.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Yep.
Bekah Baby. Yes, Lord. It's definitely a beautiful thing. Again, family, be sure to get the new album. And again, be on the lookout. New video. When will it be released? Will it be available when? This Friday?
So
When
actually, I believe we're gonna drop it on my birthday, which is 2 Fridays from now on the 23rd.
2 Fridays from now. Oh my goodness, she'll be 16. Lord
Oh
have
yeah,
mercy.
16, a young chicken.
Young. So be sure to check out the new video. I know it's going to be phenomenal. And I'm going to leave this on this note. You said something that I feel like a lot of young people that are possibly thinking about getting into this industry, artist development, that has been taken away a long time ago because you go to there, especially during the era of Motown. Artist development was important. They taught you how to walk, how to dress, how to conduct yourself doing press conferences. And I think today's music, a lot of that has been taken away. And we have a lot of people, a lot of these artists go on Instagram and doing a lot of wild things. And for me, I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for freedom of expression. But I think at the end of the day, you have to decide what level of success you're looking to achieve. Because if you put you out there in that negative way and that negative energy, you're going to burn a lot of bridges. And I've seen a lot of talented independent artists do exactly that with that behavior. And one of the things I see about you, you're willing to take those chances, and you have your head on your shoulders in the correct way. You know what you want, and that's definitely a beautiful thing. So I wish you nothing but continued success.
Thank
This is
you.
this is your home. The teddy bear has nothing but love for you, my queen. You keep doing
Thanks,
what you're
Teddy Bear.
doing.
I appreciate it. And I just have one real quick thing.
Please.
On your point, you have to think about like, is this my 15 minutes of fame or am I
Right.
building something? Like, am I building a legacy? Is my name going to mean something in 5 minutes, not just right now? And like, it's not just about like trending and going viral. If you want to be around and you want to like leave something, like if you want people to listen to you in 20 years, you have to do
Right.
something different than if you just want people in the moment to get a bunch of views.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of times we get caught up in the moment and
Mm-hmm.
we're not looking at the bigger picture. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not a 100-yard dash. It's a marathon. You have to decide whether you want to be an icon, a legend, longevity. I look at the Rolling Stones. Every person in that group is roughly in their late 70s going into their 80s, and they're selling out stadiums.
Yeah.
So do you want to have that kind of longevity, that kind of success, or you want to have a few hit songs, basically pimp yourself out on Instagram, and then your 5 minutes of fame is gone?
Right. Right.
Those are decisions, and I have no doubt in my mind, love, you are working on being a legend.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure again, family. Show your love and give all the respect and admiration to the captivating Bekah Baby, my queen. Much success, and I definitely will see you in Houston very soon. Be sure to come down
Definitely.
there.
Thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure. The very talented Bekah Baby here in the zone, of course, of LOTO Radio Night Tracks. Family, be sure to get that new hit album called Writer. Yes, Lord, a beautiful thing. Oh, and by the way, hey, no need to fear. The teddy bear is here. Be sure to join us tomorrow again. Hey, we'll be on. That's what we're doing. We're bringing substance back to their ways with the super talented Crystal Star will be joining us tomorrow. But without you, there's no me. And as in always, keep it soulful here in the zone of LOTO Radio. Lord have mercy.